This is Star Wars Outlaws. We're here on PlayStation 5 Pro. The game is indeed enhanced. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So I had originally checked out Outlaws a little bit on the base PS5, mostly on the Series X, where I was reviewing it primarily, around the launch and everything like that. So it's great to come here on the PS5 Pro and see a much improved visual fidelity for the experience. Beforehand, it was murky, muddy, and not the best. We still have the weird shimmering water, but I would say the level of clarity for the game is immensely improved. Like, this really does look fantastic. I kind of wish this was the experience I actually had playing the game, first off, because this does look a lot, and I mean a lot better visually. I am genuinely impressed by this upgrade, and I'm glad that Ubisoft always kind of delivers these improvements for the various consoles, and I hope they do so with some other games. That would be fantastic. So yeah, on the PS5 Pro, probably wondering what we're getting with the enhancement. It's a dynamic 4K resolution, but essentially we're getting the combination of multiple graphics modes. So beforehand, the game had like a couple different choices you could make in terms of how you played it, but now we just have the singular, like I said, dynamic 4K at 60 FPS. You might get a couple drops here or there, I should mention, but oh, come on! Anyways, there's also HDR support. So yeah, it is more like 1700p, because again, it is dynamic resolution scaling. So it's not necessarily the full 4K, but this is a massive, and I mean a massive bump up. Like, the best we were kind of getting with the PS5 was like 1440p-ish, and that was locked at 30 FPS, so this is a massive upgrade for this game visually on console. Like, a big difference. I'll also mention from a display setup that you can change the game from 21:9 to like fill screen, which looks a little weird for this game, honestly, and it makes the visuals not look as impressive. It makes them look a lot murkier, which I think is kind of fascinating. But if you are someone that likes to fill the screen, this option is here. I personally quite like when the screen is filled, but for this game, kind of really used to the wide lens. They usually do that to make the game a little easier on performance, honestly, but because it is hard to render the full screen, but also it does give you more of that cinematic lens that you would expect from like a cinematic Star Wars experience, and you do get to see more of the picture, right? You do get to see a lot more of the world, which is, fantastic if you're caring about that sort of thing. But we're going to be moving around and showing this off. It also does seem like the game handles the pop-in a lot better too, strangely. And I don't know if that's just because I'm not really noticing. Oh, you can kind of notice a little grass popping. It just seems like, in general, there are actual nice bump-ups for this. And I am very happy with what they've done for the improvements on this version of the game. It looks fantastic. I was a little disappointed I didn't check out like this game video-wise on the PS5. Even though I had access to it, it just kind of got lost in the mix. Mostly due to the fact that the saves were having some issues and stuff, and it is nice that this is available here, and oh, am I actually supposed to solve this? There we go, that was an easy solve. I didn't realize I didn't have like the auto solve kind of going on. There wasn't even anything in there, was there? Anyways, this game, I think, it has some really interesting opinions and thoughts on it. I thought it was kind of okay. Like, I'll obviously give you a bit of a review thought on this thing too. Like, I thought it was alright. I definitely see where some folks, you know, kind of have some issues here or there, gameplay-wise. Are you the only one that's left? This is, like, complete waste of this. Where was that? What? Oh, there is somebody else. They didn't even let me mark them on the thing. Unbelievable. Anyways, I get the complaints and stuff like that. Like, when I was playing this game, like, it is lengthy, it is chunky. It does take, you know, like, a bit of time to play it, and I can definitely see where some people have, like, kind of issues gameplay-wise, but they have been making improvements. They've kind of adjusted some of the stealth stuff. They've adjusted some of the gameplay. They've been working on, like, fixing it up, working on some of the bugs, and, you know, I think it's in a lot better of a state than it was when it kind of launched and when I was first reviewing it. And now, like, visually, this looks, you know, like, a noticeable improvement. Like, it's a stunning looking game. Like, it's visually, it's beautiful, this game. And I really thought, like, it was mostly the console hardware that was sort of making this, not reach its full potential, as to say. Which I think was kind of the big issue, was, like, the resolution scaling just kind of made this look really rough, and then you add performance issues to it, and, like, you're not getting a super quality experience. Like, I do kind of almost ponder what this would look like if I check this out on PC, but whatever the case is, we've got the PS5 Pro upgrade here, and I think this looks kind of fantastic. Like, really, genuinely, they did a good job with this one in terms of, like, the scale of the world, the things you do, the narrative of the character. I actually quite like Kay Vess here, and, you know, she's got, like, a bit of a quirky crew going on, and you're just, like, putting together a team to do, like, heist-type stuff, and you're like, femme solo is what you are, and that's kind of alright. But yeah, again, as I was mentioning, when I did work through this, it was kind of a little bit of a going through the motions kind of thing, and, you know, from a Star Wars game, it's like, oh, okay, you know, you're just visiting some spaces. At least you got some new places, and, you know, our little buddy here is just adorable. He's a little adorable little creature. We pet you, or you're rearing and ready to go, eh, buddy?
Hang on tight.
Okay. Alright, let's go. And of course, the big bummer of, you know, getting flown across the country by Ubisoft to go get my interview with the lead actors here, and then getting bumped by somebody, which was a bit of a disappointment. So I'll always remember that about this game. But hey, at least we partied hard. But no, it's a solid Star Wars game. Like, honestly, it's not too bad. It's not, like, necessarily, like, mind-blowing gameplay-wise, but, you know, if you want to be a character that's got, like, a bit of heart and everything. Holy! Am I playing on, like, New Game Plus or something like that? I was, like, mowing these guys down when I was last doing my stuff. You do die pretty easily, though. I mean, you're not invincible. Maybe they've actually adjusted it and made it harder, I suppose, too. Because that was kind of a complaint where she just comes in, like, punches up stormtroopers and, like, it's kind of, like, invulnerable, but yeah, maybe that was something they adjusted, was kind of making these guys a little bit more of a threat, almost. I don't know. Anyways. I guess it's the healing is just kind of slow, right? And the blaster rifle shots hit you and you kind of die. Lots of different outfit options. I kind of wanted that. Lots of different things to do. You know, you've got all your Ubisoft usual, like, open world kind of things, like little bases you can attack, and weird, quirky things that can happen, and, you know, you're kind of fighting against the Empire, and somehow you're just like this excellent infiltrator of stealth that, like, no one can stop, and it is kind of funny. She's like a one-woman army that just, like, annihilates all of those that get in the way. It's kind of humorous. Like, it's not, like, a bad concept either for gameplay. Like, it's kind of neat. But, yeah, at times I can definitely see, though, where there's a sense of, like, how this might not fully resonate with everyone gameplay-wise, and, like, it's different for Star Wars. Not every Star Wars game, to me, needs a lightsaber in it, but I can definitely see how that's a part of the experience, too, where you kind of look at this and you're like, well, what does this character do that's so interesting? And it's both different, but also at the same time, I can kind of see how to some degree people might be like, oh, they just kind of took the usual Ubisoft thing and then slapped Star Wars on it. I kind of get that. But also, if you are a Star Wars fan, you know, you got some great looking stormtroopers, cool enemies, lots of activities to do, lots of content. Like, I would say, you know, like gameplay-wise, no, get off that, I wanted to use my ultimate. Gameplay-wise, you're definitely not going to be lacking things to take part in and enemies to kill and stuff like that. And you get to visit some cool places, and I guess they basically called this like the first open world Star Wars game. And I know there's like galaxies and stuff like that, but you know, like the modern era-wise, you literally, you know, get to go across like Tatooine in an open world and visit different places, and that in itself is, to me, really, really quite cool that exists. And then this area is kind of nice, and there is like ship flying. They basically just took the technology they developed for wow, it is a lot harder to kill these guys. I don't know why that is. The technology they developed for, like, oh, what is that game called? Atlas? And they just kind of put it into this, so you do get to do some ship stuff. And, you know, they got all the sounds and Star Wars and everything present here. And yeah, there's actually quite a lot to sort of see and do, which is exciting. And, you know, story-wise, it is kind of quick beats. You do have various factions you can interact with, which are kind of neat. But at the same time, I guess you would say, like, the factions, it doesn't really matter too much, because you're sort of forced to do certain things for certain missions. So it's like, even if you do, I guess you would say, like, make a choice, your choices, like, will, like, as much as you want to get with one faction, your choices in the story that you have to do will, like, anger other factions, and it's all kind of irrelevant. And you're not really actually making any choices. Also, it's really impressive, Ubisoft noted that they were actually able to pull off seamless, like, ground to space. Like, I guess this is actually, like, a big technical feat that they achieved doing this, so we'll just skip that anyways. But yeah, no, I think this game's okay. It's solid as a Star Wars game. Maybe to some degree a little bit forgettable for some, but I think you can have fun going about and, you know, flying and exploring and meeting different characters, going to a few different planets. Like, yeah, it's alright. I don't know. It's almost, like, hard to talk about this game, because, like, I did it. Right, like, I played it, I went in, I did it, and then I've kind of been like, okay, and just sort of really moved on and almost forgot about it a bit. Which doesn't bode well, but, like, at least we're coming in and taking another gander at it. It's really good looking on here, seriously. Like, that was a big level of complaint for me. Oh, you can actually go right to the planet? I believe beforehand you actually had to, like, fly from, like, section to section. That's kind of funny. But yeah, at least it was worth, like, revisiting to come and do some video stuff on. How do I get out of here? Is this the way through the hangar? Yeah, this is the way through. Yeah, it's an interesting adventure. I mean, it's a little predictable gameplay-wise. It didn't really throw any, like, curves or anything like that. And it's got some hard moments and some checkpoint stuff that needed some work, but I'll hand it to Ubisoft. They've really genuinely been making some good efforts to improve the experience and patch things and stuff like that, which you always kind of expect for Ubisoft games. They have great support for different platforms and doing upgrades and everything like that, which I always appreciate and love. But yeah, I definitely, from the launch recollection too, that this one certainly did not, you know, launch in the shape that it really should have. And I think that's a bit of a shame, because I think that really kind of hurt this game gameplay-wise, because it was like how it was. But this looks way better. I know it's like a dust ball Tatooine here, but, you know, it's genuinely an improvement. I'm trying to, like, I want to show off, you know, some of the interior city, because it's, like, filled with, like, characters and that. And what was really interesting, too, for this game is the fact that, like, it actually is a fully inhabited Star Wars world. with characters and stuff like that. It's just kind of cool actually freely kind of going around and visiting places that feel like they're a part of like the world of Star Wars. It's just kind of neat because you don't get to use that usually do that kind of thing in games. And it's also interesting as well that they have like little fun side stuff, like you can go and eat with your little buddy here, and your buddy's a big part of solving problems too. You can have them go over and like non-wires and stuff like that. Yeah, cute little thing. I helped the claw machine for like an hour or something like that, and helped them fix the claw machine, where people were winning these little things, these yeah, little plushies, and yeah, I never got one, which kind of sucked. So that was great. But look at the detail on these stormtroopers, fantastic. It really feels like a fresh new game. These visual bump ups, like it is so visually clear. I'm genuinely surprised at the improvement here. Like I wasn't really expecting this sort of an improvement for this game. To basically get like, what I'm talking about, to get the full the full frame rate, almost full resolution, and you don't have to make any choices is spectacular. Yeah, that's what I'm noticing a lot with these PS5 Pro enhanced games. Is it's just kind of like new graphics mode that just combines the best of all the modes whenever there is that improvement, and great. Like, this is fantastic. Looks good, plays well. If you've been waiting for an excuse to dive in and play this game, I think it's at the point where you can pretty comfortably hop in here and have a solid time with it. And visit Star Wars and interact with it in a new way. I think that will be a pleasure for most, because like the detail and stuff really comes alive when you can actually see everything and it's not blurry. I know, big improvements, just like not having it all blurred, but yeah, the sharpness, the distance, everything like that. Oh, this is a fantastic improvement.
Nothing to report.
Stormtrooper, Stormtrooper.
Get him, Nix.
Sick him, Nix. That's what I like to see out there, Nix. That's good killing. Did I blow up the barrier, but not the guy? And then there are these, like, wanted scene things, or wanted sequences where they chase you around and stuff like that, and, all that stuff. And then the space things, but... yeah, I think I've pretty much, gone over the full scope of this one and what it provides. And frame drops here. There is some good stuff to do in this one, and some fun, and the narrative is decently long. You're gonna get your value out of it. Wow, it's actually really having some frame rate issues in the sequence, but yeah, this is not gonna be the most mind-blowing Star Wars thing you've ever had, but the performances are good, the quality of the experience is there, the polish is there, and yes, they've taken some time to actually improve this one a bit, and I think you'll probably appreciate it a lot more than what I played when I played it at the launch, and it is to a degree too kind of like a going it through the motions game. I won't shy away from saying that because that's what I said at launch too. Why aren't we going? Oh, there's like a little wire here. Oh, that's hilarious. That's so funny. I was like, why aren't I moving? And then it's like, oh yeah, no, that would explain it. Cool synced up points. I don't know. I kind of like this game. It's okay. It's fine. The Bantha's running around. It's all more Star Wars is always good, even if Star Wars is at a bit of a low point right now. This is still one of the better quality experiences. So you got that going for it, and then bumped up with the PS5 Pro. Yeah, it's one of those good little showcases of what this console can do, and it would be neat to see if this gets bumped up any more in a future gen. But honestly, this is probably as good as it really needs to get. 4K, 60 FPS, sharp, clear, well running. Yeah, good way to play the game. A great way to experience it. And I mean, you get to visit Tatooine again. It's like, whoever gets tired of visiting this sandy planet over and over again?